Hello and welcome to my UCL Fantasy Matchday 1 team selection, and this has been a lot of planning, a lot of tinkering around, and I genuinely do believe I have one of the best teams and chip strategies that you can start with for UCL Fantasy. Now, speaking of chip strategies, we are still looking at the Limitless 3 and Wildcard 6. I do think it just makes a lot of sense for the fixtures that you can see on screen, with a lot of the bigger teams having a difficult fixture in Matchday 3 and 6. Now, again, we have added to this last time when we done our first draft video. We only included the first 4 teams with Dortmund, Bayern, Juventus and Barca, but we have since added in Real Madrid, who at first glance, obviously with orange fixtures, it doesn't look too great, no green fixtures in there. But then thinking about it, rather than looking on paper, a game against Stuttgart for Real Madrid followed by Lille, you would expect them to do quite well. Now obviously with the Limitless being used in Matchday 3, we're then getting that fixture against AC Milan at home as well for Real Madrid. So very pleased with that. And we're basically just going to be focusing most of our team towards these 5 teams now. It's not going to be exactly like that, you know, every single player isn't going to be from these 5 teams, but obviously it's a good way to kind of gauge and make sure that we are really focusing on good fixtures, when obviously it is so hard to try find a good fixture run with totally random fixtures in the Champions League this year. So starting off with our goalkeepers, we have went for a double up of 4.5 million goalkeepers. Now as I said in the first draft video, I do believe this is one of the better strategies. You know, I was originally having the Dynamo Zagreb goalkeeper in there at 4 million, I think it's Nevistic his name is, but I did want to cover off the Juventus defence, and obviously in that draft video I had Cambiasso, who I've now removed from the draft. You'll talk about that in a little minute. So I wanted a way to cover off that Juventus defence, and I did originally speak about how Di Gregorio was probably the best 4.5 million goalkeeper in the game. So him and Blažević do rotate very nicely, as you can see. They actually rotate all the way up until match day 8, where of course everyone plays in the same day, so there's no way of getting a goalkeeper rotation for that. So if you aren't really too sure in your chip strategy, this could be a really nice way to go. Obviously with me wildcarding in matchday 6 and limitless in matchday 3, that doesn't really matter too much, but being able to find 2 goalkeepers that play on separate days, obviously we can get the points from both of them doing that, and very happy to do so because I think they both are very solid, and at least we're still having, like, we're not really going for poor goalkeepers. Obviously you could argue that the Salzburg goalkeeper is not going to be keeping too many clean sheets because it's Salzburg, but at least we've got one player from the big teams, if you could say that, for some potential clean sheets in De Gregorio. Now in defence we have made a lot of upgrades. We've got a lot more expensive players than we did previously. Now we have a back line of players over 5 million. Obviously you can see Kubarsi on the bench as well. He is the Barca defender of choice. Now in terms of the other players, we've got Dani Carvajal in there. Now he was one of the better players heading into the final stages of the Champions League last year with in terms of UCL Fantasy. He picked up a couple of goals, couple of player of the match awards as well, and if you watched the Euros, he was also very effective there, so we're hoping that he can do quite well. Obviously trying to target Real Madrid players, he is definitely one of the better ones, and obviously completely nailed as well, and he just is a bit of a beast when it comes to UCL Fantasy. Now we're doubling up, we're keeping the double up of Dortmund defenders, but we have switched it around a little bit now. We've got Schlotterbeck in there, obviously the second best to only Mats Hummels for ball recoveries last year. Absolutely fantastic, hoping he repeats that this year, and I think he's probably the most nailed centre back in that Dortmund team as well. They do play 5 at the back, 3 centre backs, so there's more chance of him and, for example, like Anton playing, but I do believe Schlotterbeck is the most nailed down for his position. We've also got Emre Can in there at 5 million. Now there is some speculation that he is going to be on penalties. He's took the last couple. I personally thought it was going to be Sabitzer, but Can has took penalties while Sabitzer is on the pitch. So as a defender on penalties, obviously getting that extra point for the goal. And he does play in midfield, so the fact that he's down as a defender, he's going to be getting extra goal points, and he's going to be getting clean sheet points, which he wouldn't have done playing as a midfielder. Now he does still play in the midfield alongside Pascal Gross in the Dortmund team, team, so I think he could be a really, really good player this year for UCL Fantasy. And then finishing things off, we've got Grimaldo. Some decent fixtures for Leverkusen. Not absolutely outstanding, but they're not bad enough for Grimaldo to do quite well, and he has always been someone that's been fantastic in UCL Fantasy. Obviously played in the Europa League last year, so we didn't get the same, or we didn't get him whatsoever, but this year he's back and he's already scored a goal in his 2 matches in the Bundesliga so far, so hoping for big things from Grimaldo, hoping he can return to his previous self from 2-3 years ago. Next up, looking at the midfield, you can see on the bench again, finishing off that triple Barca. Now, Yamal and Rafinha, I think, are going to be 2 of the most popular midfielders. Now, in terms of picking between them, I really don't think there's too much. Now, I think with their prices, both priced at 7.5 million, I would genuinely try and get both of them in, because they both have had a fantastic start to the season, and Barca are just scoring goals for fun right now, and I would 100% get them in, especially with that fixture run that they've got. So we are, as I said, targeting the Barca players. We've finished off that triple up, and you can see in midfield as well, we've also got Sabitzer. Now that covers off if Chan isn't going to be on penalties. That way we are basically guaranteed to have the Dortmund penalty taker in there, and he also completes the Dortmund triple up. So that's 6 of our players taken up by Dortmund and Barca, 2 of the teams with the best fixtures in the game weeks that we want to target up till game week 6. Now we've also got Serge Gnabry in there. Now he is probably one of the best Bayern attackers I'm looking at for the start of this season. Now, his minutes look great. He's had 90 minutes in both Bundesliga games so far. He's got a goal, he's got 2 assists in his 3 matches that he's played all season, and I think Gnabry's always been someone who is really good when he plays. Now, if he's going to continue to get 90 minutes under Vincent Kompany, I definitely think he is someone I'm going to want to have. So I do prefer him to Elise, who's obviously $1 million cheaper, mainly because of his minutes. Elise does seem to be subbed, whether it's the 60th or 70th minute, and Gnabry has been playing the full game, so really happy with him. And then on to my 4.5 million budget enabler. Now, Nicholas Kuhn is the starting right wing for Celtic, and he's been priced cheaper than the 2 benched right wingers for Celtic. James Forrest and Yang are both priced at 5 million. Kuhn is the one starting over them at 4.5 million. Now, he's had a brilliant start to the season as well, with 3 goals and 3 assists in the 5 matches he's played so far. And obviously, if you've been keeping attention to the fixtures, Celtic on paper have the best fixtures in the entire league stage. So kind of wanted to get someone in. Again, there's a reason he's priced at 4.5 million. He's not an absolute world beater. He's not going to be scoring goals left, right and centre. But like I said, the fixtures are good. He's an attacking player. They've got Slovan Bratislava in Matchday 1 at home, and I definitely think he could be a steal for 4.5 million. Moving on to our attackers, we have 3 premium strikers, 2 of those from the teams that we wanted to target at the start of the video, and the other one is Erling Haaland. Now, we've went for the 3 big premiums, 11 million, 11 million, 10.5 million. All 3 have some nice fixtures. Obviously, Kane with Zagreb at home in game week 1. Haaland not so much with Inter at home, but we all know he can score against any opponent, and then the fixtures after that for Man City are really nice, and then Mbappe with Stuttgart as well. Now, in terms of who to captain on the first day between Kane and Mbappe, you can see on screen now the odds of these guys picking up a lot of goals, or at least the odds of their teams picking up a lot of goals, is very high. You can see Bayern actually have a 38% chance of scoring 4 or more goals against Zagreb, and a 62% chance to score 3 or more, which is huge, and you would imagine Kane is going to be involved in that somehow. Now, looking across to Real Madrid, still some big odds there, 54% chance to score over 3, 29% chance to score over 4, but Bayern are clearly heavily favoured, and I think the Zagreb fixture is obviously just a lot better than the Stuttgart fixture, because Stuttgart are not a team to be underestimated. Zagreb, however, usually tend to be a team that doesn't really do too well in the Champions League. So for me this week, I'm going to be sticking the captaincy on Kane. Now, on Wednesday, I've decided I'm going to go for Haaland. again, not the easiest fixture in the world against Inter. They are one of the best defences in the world. However, again, it's Erling Haaland. I don't want to have him in and not captain him. I'd rather not book the transfer in for game week 2 as well. I think in case there's any injuries, in case anything happens to my team with only 2 transfers, I want to make sure that I'm starting with Erling Haaland in there, and he's going to take the armband on Wednesday. Then on Thursday, I'm going to go for Rafinha. A toss-up between Rafinha and Yamal. I do believe Rafinha is going to be more of a goal threat than Yamal is. He seems to be the one getting most of the assists. Rafinha can easily pick up 2-3 goals. I don't think that's really what Yamal is up to. So happy with our 3 captaincies. That is the team for match day 1. Let me know what you think of it down in the comments. Make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe if you're new for more UCL Fantasy content. And I'll see you all in the next video.